Let's revise chapter number 5 for some time. Tell me, how will you gather audit evidence in preliminary investigation?
Interview and review internal documents.
Yes. Then what are the 7 questions he will ask, and to whom he will ask?
System analyst will ask the user about the technical feasibility. Yeah, the technical, financial, economical.
See, these are the 7 questions which are dimensions for scope determination. These are the
Oh yeah.
7 questions he will ask, and these are the 8 things he will do on his own. Okay, this feasibility study he will do on his own. Now, the user, will that be only one user, or we will refer to all the users in the organization?
All the users.
Okay, will it be feasible to interview all the users in the organization?
No, sir. Predominantly.
So we will interview one user from all levels of organization. Okay, we will not interview all users. We will interview one user from all levels of organization. What are the levels? Lower level management, middle level management, and upper level management or top management. Then I will ask you one specific point now. You have to tell me what it is. In a feasibility study, what is operational feasibility?
Whether the process is correct or not.
Okay, and that is also a reasonable explanation, but you can also say that whether the process which we are suggesting in our future system, will it be compatible with our other business process or not? And even if it is compatible, whether it can be executed efficiently or not. Okay, so what you are saying, that is also correct, but you can just spice it up by linking it with the audit objectives. Now let's see. So this is preliminary investigation. First step in system development life cycle.
So, can you explain the stages of this life cycle in a short form, sir? Like, first is preliminary, next is requirement analysis. Then, how does it go about, sir?
I will tell you that story now, so that even if there is problem in questions and all, you can understand on your own. Now, see, this is very similar to the audit procedures, but try to differentiate. First step is preliminary investigations. Now, there is a person, he has some problem. Okay, he is worrying and worrying and worrying and worrying. Now, he meets the planning expert in the organization. The planning expert, he starts asking him questions that what is wrong, what is the problem, and then he will start doing a detailed analysis for coming up with a solution. That is what is preliminary investigation. Now, as soon as they come up with a solution, we will try to do a technical feasibility, or we will see whether we can install such a system in the organization to provide a solution to such a problem. So that is what is system requirement analysis. Now, the planning person will not do system requirement analysis because it doesn't have the technical knowledge of the business processes in the organization. So the technical person will do the system requirements analysis. In system requirements analysis, we will prepare a book called SRS documentation. In that book, we will prepare two models, model of the present system and model of the future system. So in the next part, system designing, this is a designing expert now. Whatever the requirements are given in the SRS documentation book, he will refer to that. He will look at the current model, the future model, and as per that, he will do designing. Now, what kind of designing he will do is, if you see the website of ICA, there are certain tabs like students, resources, members, FAQs. So that is basically the design of the website or the architecture of the website. So in that way, we will uh, understand how the architecture of our software will be in system design, how data will be entered, how we will access that data, how we will alter that data, and how our website must look when we try to access the website. That is basically system design. Okay, we are deciding the architecture of the website, then or the software. Then system acquisition. Now after we have done the designing, we further have more insight that what system we require. We have already finished it in the system requirement analysis documentation. Now we also know what are the architectural requirements. So in step 2, SRS documentation book. In step 3, architectural requirements we have understood. So we will combine these, and as per that we will purchase the software or the system in the 4th stage, that is system acquisition. Now how we will do system acquisition is, we will use a few methods like point scoring, then benchmark analysis and all. So now in stage 4 of a system acquisition, we don't have to focus more on how to acquire and all. What we have to focus on is what parameters we have to consider before actually acquiring the software or the hardware or other peripheral equipments. After we have acquired the software, now we will start developing the system, that is system development. Now in that we will also see what are the issues. Okay, after we have developed the software in the stage 4, we will start testing it. Here we will do initial testing, then subsequent testing and all. Also we will also see some function wise testing, that we will see these are the attributes of our data, whether we are able to understand the attributes and whether we are able to take decisions or not. So that is what we will do in system testing. After doing system testing, when we are fully sure that our system is ready now, it is going to cover all the aspects, it is going to change our business process. When we are 100% sure, we will implement the system 100% in system implementation. Now again in system implementation, there will be some issues just like system development. And then in the end, we will do post implementation review and system maintenance, which is the most easiest stage in this entire cycle. In post implementation review and system maintenance, we have to just understand what are the types of maintenance and how to do post implementation review. After doing that review, we will see whether any corrections are required in the software or not, and we will do them accordingly. Okay. So this is the flow of this system development lifecycle. Now in exam, if they ask explain what is system development lifecycle, you have to just mention these stages and write 1 or 2 lines on it. That will be uh, very sufficient. Okay, you don't have to go in detail what are the contents of these, but they will only ask one question from one of the stages. For example, for preliminary investigation, they might ask, what are the objectives of analyst? Question number 1. Then, what are the dimensions for scope determination? Then, what are the aspects to be kept in mind for delineation of scope? Then, how to do feasibility study. Okay. They will never ask what are the methods for analysis of scope, because you can see that it is only 2 points. So in preliminary investigation, actually the 3 important questions are, what are the analyst objectives, what are the dimensions for scope determination, how to do feasibility study, and also aspects to be kept in mind for delineation of scope. These are the 4 important questions in preliminary investigation. So they will ask one of these. Then is system requirement analysis. How to do analysis of present system, how to do analysis of the proposed system. Here, now tell me what are the common points you have to remember for this stage, system requirement analysis.
Inputs, outputs, database.
Input, process, storage, output.
These are the components of flow of information. We will enter the data from the source documents, that will be our input. Then it will be processed by our system. Then we will provide output. This output will be either stored in the database or used in our current operation. Now tell me, where we will model the existing system and the future system.
Model activities objective. Oh no, even in analyze a present system we do that.
Okay, in analysis of present system, we will model the existing system, and in analysis of proposed system, we will model the future system. And where we will give these models?
In the book.
Okay, in the SRS documentation book. Now tell me, what are the 4 chapters in this documentation book?
Functional.
Introduction and those 4 functional behavior chapters, appendices.
Validation, appendices, review.
We have 4 chapters: information, function, behavior, and validation. What is information? We are trying to tell that please, we need this hardware, we need this software. If we don't get this, we will not be able to provide you a solution. So please give us the money to buy this hardware and software. That is what is in information description. Then what is functional description is, after we purchase that hardware and software, how the functions are going to use that, what is the interdependency of one function on another function, that is functional description. Then in behavioral description, what we have to say is, if there are any changes in the environment, IT environment, how we are supposed to respond to same, how we will do environmental scanning. So that is your behavioral description. And in validation criteria, what you have to tell is how to maintain CAV of data. What is CAV? Completeness, accuracy, and validity of data. So these 4 chapters we have to mention. Once again, what are the contents of the book? We will give an introduction, that why we are doing this system requirement analysis and all. Then 4 chapters: information, function, behavior, validation. Then we will give the appendices. These are the charts, diagrams, and all other data for your better understanding. And then a feedback form, that is basically for the review of the SRS book. Now tell me the flow of how people will be appointed in SDLC.
Steering committee, then you have the project leader, No, project manager, then the project leader, then the module leader, then uh, then the database administrator, then comes the last one, um, domain specialist.
Now tell me, yesterday when you read this for the first time, you have already told me that it was a bit difficult. Now tell me, are you a bit comfortable now with the both the stages, preliminary investigation and system requirement analysis?
Yes, sir.
We will continue now. Some design. Yes,
Sir,
sir.
what about the tools, sir?
Which tools?
They've given structured English, flowcharts, case tools, data dictionary, and all that.
In just a minute. Yes, sir, we will cover them also. But for this specific stage, we will not cover them because we will cover them later. For these stages, I have made sure that only related 7 questions we will first see, and then the remaining questions we will see in the end. That is why I have categorized that first we will do system development approaches, then system development life cycle, and then the other basic questions later. Okay, so we will cover it in the other questions.
Okay, sir.
Now tell me, who is this person on the screen?
Manish Malhotra, right? So,
Okay, he is Manish Malhotra. Okay, he is a fashion designer. So he is going to do the system designing for our organization. We are trying to do something new. What is his objective? We want to design a system that will satisfy all managerial and customer wants. Okay, if customer wants online banking, we are going to design a system that is the best system for online banking. If he wants a ATM, we are going to have the most luxurious and most innovative ATM there is in this entire world. If he wants to withdraw 10 crores, we will make provisions for him to withdraw 100 crores. Okay, so that is how we are going to design the system. Okay, that is the approach of this person. So what we will do is we will create a blueprint of what hardware we will require, what software we will require, what people we must appoint to make sure that we understand the process and we impose controls and all, and what are the data resources required. Okay. So all this will be decided by this person. Now, see now, here we have 2 more images. These are 2 examples of his design. Okay, both the designs, they are very different from each other. Both of these cannot come to a certain function. Okay, both cannot be used for a certain situation. In the first, you can see that it is for a specific event. Okay, like marriage or any other functions and all. And the second one, it looks like an international function. Okay, it is not our daily marriage or other family functions. So as per the requirement of the situation, the design will change. Earlier, the customer was not asking for online banking, pre-authorized withdrawals, ATMs and all. Okay, he was happy with the check system and all. He used to come to the bank, he used to issue a bank, he used to issue a check, uh, and he used to withdraw the money. Okay, everything was simple. But now the demands of the customers have increased now. We need to do something. Okay, we can't just stick to the earlier designs. So that is why we are doing a system design. Okay, now the concept of the first dress and the concept of the second dress, you can understand what is the difference and what is the situation where we have to wear them. Okay, so there is a conceptual difference between them. Okay, first dress is one concept and the second dress is the second concept. If the company is asking for the first concept, this person has to provide such a design. If the company is asking for the second concept, he is supposed to provide such a design. If the company is asking for a combination of both the concepts, he must be able to provide that also. Okay, so why I took this example of this dress and all, what you have to understand is these are two examples of a system design. Okay, these system designs, they are conceptually different now. If you compare them, both are suited for different situations. That is why I took this dress example. Now let's see what is architectural design. Okay, here we will decide who is going to be the father and who are going to be his sons. It is a hierarchy of modules and submodules. Here, what you have to remember is ICAI's website. When you go to the ICAI's website, there are links given or tabs given that are students, then resources, FAQ, BOS portal, other important links. Okay. In that, whichever that is basically the hierarchy of modules. Now, when you click on one of the modules, there will be a drop down list. Those drop down list is nothing but a submodules. Now, after we see those submodules, when we click on the submodules, the more information will be given that to access these modules, you need to enter your login ID password. After you enter the login ID password, a dialog box will be given where they will give more information about the module. So that is what we are identifying the module features and data requirements. What data we need to give and then what data will be given to us. Then we will use functional decomposition. Now what is functional decomposition? We have already understood what are modules and submodules. Now we will try to differentiate them on the basis of their functions. For example, for ICAI, what are the different functions? Conducting examinations, then uh, conducting seminars for the members, then introducing new chapters. Okay, so the institute also has different functions. Now, as per that functions, again, we will prepare a hierarchy of modules and submodules. Okay, so when you do that, when you divide all the activities of an organization into functions, and for one function you try to prepare a hierarchy of modules and submodules, that is what is functional decomposition. For example, we have CA CPT or foundation course, we have CA IPCC course and CA final course. We don't give the syllabus of all these three in a consolidated manner. What we will do is we will prepare a hierarchy of modules and submodules. This is only for the CA course. Okay, there are also a lot of courses given by the institute. There is accounting technician course, then there is a system audit course. Okay, then for those also we have different modules and submodules. So that is what we are doing is, here the technical term you have to remember is functional decomposition. Functional decomposition. And we have to also see what is the module and what is the connection of this module with the other modules. Okay. So this is how we'll do the architectural design. Yes, have you understood this question? Remember the ICAI's website here for understanding architectural design. Now tell me how we will do the last point, module connection and couple modules. How we will understand the connection between different modules. Okay, this person, he might not understand the connection. You need the knowledge of all the modules, only then you can do it. So obviously he will hire a person, or he will hire a chartered accountant who has the knowledge of all the modules. We'll continue in a minute. Don't go anywhere.